back in our library. It's been a little while, but Miss Atwood is here with me to read you a story called Born to Read. But before we dig into the book, we need to go back over the things that we're learning about and the things that we should be able to do. So it says, we will practice the characteristics of good readers by exploring different genres. So let's pop back up to this word characteristics real quick, because that's what we started when we were over here. We made this chart about how good readers listen carefully. Mm-hmm. Have we been working hard on that?
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Learn new words.
Oh yeah, a lot of new words.
There's going to be 2 special ones that come up in this book, and I'm really excited. Make connections to our lives. That's our other goal with this book today, is going to be all about making connections between what the character says and does and things.
Maybe what happened with you.
Exactly. And share ideas and feelings. These things kind of go together. When we read, it makes us feel the way the character feels. It gives us new ideas. So I feel like what good readers do happens for us all the time. We are becoming those good readers. By exploring different genres, we need to understand the difference between fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. So just by looking at this book, Miss Atwood, which one of these do you think it could be?
Probably fiction.
How did you guess fiction? What went through your head?
Because the fella looks cartoonish.
So it's like somebody drew him, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, a cartoon.
Yeah.
And you're right. Usually in fiction, because it is made up, someone has to draw the pictures instead of using a camera to take them. Yeah. So this is going to be fiction, but it's going to be realistic fiction. When I say realistic, what does that make you think of?
That it could happen.
But it didn't.
But it didn't. But
it could.
It could.
It could. That's the key part. So fiction is fake. We know this story is fake, but it could happen. So that's what makes it realistic fiction. So we're zooming in on fiction right now. We are going to be making connections and learning some new words in this story. Born to Read. Okay. So here we start off with our character, one of those fiction features, and we can see that he's just a little baby. What's his name, Miss Atwood?
Oh, Sam.
Sam, just like one of the words we're learning in Letterland. Sam is our character's name. Let's find out more about Sam. It says, in the town of sunny skies, a tiny baby blinked his eyes at dragons dancing overhead and letters painted on his bed. That's me, he thought. My name is Sam. I'm bored to read. I know I am.
Uh-oh, it's rhyming.
It is rhyming, so that might remind you a little bit of poetry. That's where we're going next after we finish fiction. But it says, I can see that Sam is just a little baby here, and he's surrounded by books. I didn't read when I was a baby. Could you read when you were a baby? No. So I wonder if something is special about Sam, because I didn't read when I was a baby. Says, Sam flashed his mom a hopeful look, and she opened up a picture book. Then another, then another, then another. Such a perfect, patient mother. Do you recognize any of these stories, Miss Atwood?
Yes, I see Dr. Seuss down at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm going to get closer so our friends can see. And you know what? I'm going to tell a funny story. I hope you don't mind, Miss Atwood. The other day, you asked me about Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
Oh, yeah?
And you thought it was about a chicken. You thought it was about a chicken. So if you know Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, that's an alphabet book we have in our library about letters. And this is one of my favorite books. Do you recognize that one? It's The Very Hungry Caterpillar. So you might have read some of these books because there's Pat the Bunny, there's Cat in the Hat, which is what Miss Atwood pointed out. I thought I saw Goodnight Moon somewhere in here, because maybe that's this one back here. That was one of my favorite books as a kid. It says, oh, I'm sorry, before we leave this page. Was he actually being the reader?
No.
No. Who ended up being the reader? His mom. So maybe you remember back in your head a time when people were reading books to you before you could actually read. Because now our friends are the ones that are becoming the readers, doing the reading. But it might still be nice to have somebody else
To read it.
read to you and share those books just like Sam had in this part of the story. But it does say, Sam became a reading star. He helped his papa drive the car. He helped his sisters do their chores. He helped himself at grocery stores. So maybe you're starting to see things that you can relate to. I know as drivers, because we're grown-ups, right? We need to be able to read
Definitely.
like stop, no turning, go slow, right? Do you
Yes.
read things at the grocery store?
I definitely do. With certain kind of things, I like my certain kind of brand. So yes, you definitely have to read.
And I've been doing better about reading the labels, making sure the ingredients
This is
that
good.
are good for you. Exactly. And this one says, please mop the floor. Love, Mom. So maybe you have a list of chores. I know when I was younger, my parents would make me a list
Definitely.
of chores I had to do. Once, when Sam was almost 4, his knees turned green and his thumbs got sore. His cheeks were flecked with yellow spots. They rushed him off to Dr. Potts, who cried, "Oh, it's Martian mustardation. You are going to need an operation."
Oh my God.
Sam asked, "Is that really necessary? Let me see that dictionary. Here's a better diagnosis. Harmless preschool Play-Doh-osis." So what do you think they meant by Play-Doh-osis?
I guess he stuck Play-Doh to his face. I'm assuming he was
Yeah,
playing with
so
it.
it looks like he grew yellow spots,
Yeah.
but really he was just playing around with the Play-Doh. Oh my goodness. So a dictionary, though, is a book where you look up words.
Meanings of words.
You got it. So he grabbed the dictionary. Because he was such a good reader, he was able to help the doctor figure out it wasn't Martian mustardation.
That's a
Goodness,
new
he
one.
needed an operation. Yikes. It says, Sam read in bed and in the hall and in the tub and at the mall. He read while playing basketball. So I know when I was little, I was a lot like Sam. I didn't read while playing basketball because I did gymnastics that wouldn't have been safe to
right.
read and do gymnastics at the same time. But I did like to hide under my covers and read at night. I was one of those people that just had to finish the book.
Oh,
I couldn't go to bed. I had to start a book and finish it all at the same
my
time.
Goodness.
And I would check the biggest books out of the library, even though I couldn't read them. I just wanted to be seen carrying around a big book. So like Anne of Green Gables was one of my favorites to check out, even though it was like this thick and I couldn't read it. I still just wanted to carry it around.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you read lots of places or lots of things?
Not thick books like that. I'm a magazine reader.
There you go. So
yeah.
what
I like
kinds
short
of
stories.
so like
I like about people.
people. That's right. True information
Yes.
about people is Miss Atwood, and I like those fiction made up stories. So this says, passing by the pizza place, Sam spied a poster. It said, cycle race. Right away, his head was spinning, filled with thrilling dreams of winning. So this kind of reminds me about how words are everywhere. If you're walking down the street in Wilmington, you're downtown, right?
Yep.
You're going to see signs and posters and things. Even when you're driving, there's the big billboards for the cars that
Right.
advertise things. So really, it's important to be a
To know
reader
how to read.
because there are words for you to read everywhere. And if you can't read them, then you're going to miss something.
You're not going to know what's going on.
Exactly, because this says that it has prizes. So he's going to enter this bicycle race and hopefully win a prize. Ooh. Sam read books on motivation, concentration, muscle action, getting traction, good nutrition, grand ambition, playing fair, and bike repair.
He read some of everything.
Some of everything. And so what he's doing here is trying to get ready for the race
Prepare for the race.
by reading about bike riding. So I know, like, before I go to do a big project at the house, something I've never done before, I make sure I get on the computer and read
Make
about
sure
it
Yep.
before I just jump right in and try it, or cooking things. right? Like I try and read about the steps to do before I jump.
Start.
Do you do the same thing?
I do most of the time, yes.
Because you don't want
Especially
it
if
to
it's something new.
right, go
And
wrong.
I definitely read because I don't like to waste food.
True. You don't want to, and I wouldn't want to like waste paint or anything when I was painting at my house. I wanted to do it right the first time. So it's probably a good thing that he's reading all of this stuff. But I want to focus on 2 words because it said that we were going to learn new words as readers. It says Sam read books on motivation, concentration. And I know in morning meeting we're going to be talking about things that learners do. And motivation and concentration are 2 really important things. So I'll take one word and you take the other. Do you want to talk about motivation or concentration?
I'll take concentration.
What is concentration, Miss Atwood?
When you're reading stuff so you can understand it fully, you have to concentrate on what you're reading. Read it more than one time if you don't understand it the first time.
So it's like when you use your brain to like really focus on something.
Focus on it.
That's called
concentration.
Okay, your brain's not like thinking about that over there and thinking about that over there.
On that one thing.
It's focused. All right, so he's reading on concentration because he wants to win. And motivation is like inside of you when you really, really want something so badly that nothing is going to stop you. You're motivated. So even if somebody said like, you can't do it.
Oh, that motivates me to show them that I can.
Miss Atwood and I are very similar on that. If somebody tells me I'm not capable, I'm not able to do something, I get the motivation to do it.
That's exactly right.
Even more. So it's this inside feeling that you might get that you want to be able to do something.
It's like, I'll show them I can do it.
So Sam is reading books on motivation, concentration, muscle action, getting traction, good nutrition, grand ambition, playing fair, and bike repair. So all the things he would need to win that bike race. On Saturday at 9:30, as Sam approached the starting line, all the racers roared with laughter. They would not be laughing after. Sam took off at lightning speed and sprinted to an early lead. Uphill, downhill, like a rocket, stopping once to fix a sprocket. When the pack was lost from view, Sam paused to read a poem or 2.
Oh.
Popped a wheelie just for fun and finished up as number 1. Here's my secret, Sam decreed. Readers win and winners read. Whew, that's a tongue twister. I'm going to come back so you can see that again. It says, readers win and winners read. I feel like that's true because you're prepared when you're a reader. That's really good. But I thought it was funny that he popped a wheelie and had time to read a poem in the race here.
So he started off way ahead, so you think he had a couple of minutes.
And that's where we're actually going to stop today, Miss Atwood, because this is such a great story. I want to save it for more than one day because we need to talk about making connections. That was what our job was right here, to make connections to our lives. So I'm going to spin you around so that you're looking at the smart board, and we are going to draw a connection. It says, in the book, describe a part of the book. So take a minute. I want you to think of a part of the book that you connected to. Because on the other side it says, the story reminds me of a time when, and you're going to describe a personal connection. So it's got to be between the book and you. So take a minute to think about one part so far that you could draw a part of the book and how that connected to you. What do you got?
Well, I can remember the part that connected to me
Okay.
was when I was maybe 6 or 7. Everybody was skating, but I preferred riding my bike.
Okay.
So I wasn't a skater. I was more of a bike rider.
So kind of like Sam rode his bike in the story.
Yes.
All right. So did you have curly hair when you were little?
Yes.
All right. Did you wear a helmet when you were a bike rider?
No.
Oh,
I didn't. Back in the day, because I'm much older than you, we didn't have to have a helmet.
Well, can I leave it on for
Sure,
safety?
sure.
Is that okay? All right. So we're going to put you
On
on
a
a
bike.
bike.
And I used to love when they were putting in Carolina Beach Road. It was, always a single lane. But when they were putting in Carolina Beach Road, they doubled it. And when they were working on it, oh, there was this hill. I used to love to get on that hill and ride on that smooth highway.
Like that?
And I'd be going fast. Yes, while everybody else was skating.
Okay. So maybe I'll put your friend, like, roller skating
yeah.
in the back here.
Yeah.
She has pretty curly hair, too. All right, so here are her
Skates.
roller skates. And she's skating along.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I don't want to skate. I want to
Yeah,
ride
ride
my
my
bike.
bike.
So if
Yeah.
I'm connecting that to a part of the story, it would be when Sam was in the bicycle race.
Mm-hmm.
So I should draw the bicycle race over here. Okay, so I know there were a lot of hills in that part of the story
Yeah.
because it said he went uphill, downhill.
Yeah.
Then there was that finish line at the end.
Yeah. Good job.
And I'll draw Sam. He kind of had like spiky hair.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a helmet, which was important.
Yeah.
And he's on his bike. I know, right? I'm such a good drawer, Miss Atwood.
I'm telling you, it's a good job. Now you got to put one behind him because he was at the finish line.
Ooh, you're right.
Remember, he was first.
So he did win. Did you feel like you could have won a bicycle race when you were?
Oh, I knew I could. I was fast.
All right, so there's the other guy
Very
on
good.
the bike. So after I draw this on Seesaw, the book, what happened, and me, what happened, I have to record my voice talking about it. So you want to say, in the book, and describe that part of the book,
Okay.
and then the story reminds me of a time when, and then describe your personal connection. So I want you to do that. I'm going to hit the microphone, and it's not really going to record, but we can practice. So say,
Well, in the book, it describes that I love to ride my bike, and I was prepared because I knew my bike very well. And then in the story, it reminds me when I would rather ride because I could ride fast than roller skate.
there you go. Exactly. So Sam rode his bike in the story, and he rode really fast.
Mhm.
And you like to ride your bike when you were little, and you liked going down hills
Right.
really fast. Okay. So that's Miss Atwood. Oh, I wish this worked because it was a secret trick I learned last year.
Yeah. There
Haha.
you go.
Haha. Okay. So for me, I'm going to draw a picture of Sam reading, like, in the grocery. Well, no, I'm going to draw him reading before the bike race, I think.
Okay.
There were lots of times that reminded me, but
Yeah.
specifically, like, he was getting ready for his bike race by reading the book. So I'm going to put, like, bikes on his book here.
Okay.
He's going to be holding it in his hands. He's going to be sitting crisscross applesauce.
Uh-huh.
He's going to be wearing a shirt. All right. So there's our friend Sam, and he's reading his book about bikes. That reminds me of how I read to get ready to do things too. Like I said, this weekend I was really trying to figure out how I wanted to paint these without getting brush strokes in them. So I got on my laptop, so I'm going to draw like a computer instead of a book, but I was still reading.
Okay.
My little ponytail. And I was trying to figure out how to paint, so I'll put a bucket of paint
Paint down.
over here.
Cool.
Because I can paint, but this one, I wanted it to be like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Paint. Put a paintbrush. All right, and then I have to record my voice. And I'm going to say, in the book, Sam read a book about bikes in order to prepare for his big race. And that part of the story reminds me of a time when I had to read to prepare to do something, like when I was painting this weekend. All right? So now that's your job, friends, is to watch this and hop on Seesaw. I did want to show you that I'm going to put the video as the first slide on here. So make sure to get to the activity part. You pop down to the second slide by clicking the pages on the side of the screen over there. All right? We love you.
Bye.